Hey everybody, it's Dr. Dain. Welcome to this installment of the Tour of Consciousness. What a great pleasure it is to be with you. I'm here in London, Ontario, Canada, the other London, for those of you who've never been here. You know, I told people I'm going to London to do a class, and they went, "Oh, cool, I hope you enjoy the UK." I was like, no, that's not the London I'm going to. What is the tool for today? First of all, let me apologize for my background. You know, we do this Tour of Consciousness thing to show you different places in the world and their beauty. I'm in a boring hotel room because it's raining outside and we can't really go anywhere else to film this, but I've got a great tool I wanted to share with you. I was actually here doing a 3-day energetic synthesis of being class. It's a way of working with bodies that I developed after I got into Access Consciousness a little while ago, 11 years ago, and it was such an amazing class, and one of the things that we worked with people on I'd like to share with you. So I'm going to give you a question, give you a tool. It's actually about fantasy reality. See, what happens is most of us have these fantasies of the way things should be, or the way they might be, or the way maybe they could be, if I could just get it right, or if I could stop judging myself, or if I could just be perfect, then I could have this fantasy come into reality, except you put all kinds of energy into this fantasy and it doesn't ever get to show up in your life. If you've ever thought maybe somebody would be great to be in a relationship with and you saw them across a crowded room and went, "Oh my gosh, when I'm with them, everything will be perfect." Have you ever noticed that it doesn't usually turn out that way? The reason is because we have these fantasies about the people that we want to be with, or we have these fantasies about the way a job should be, or the way a relationship should be, or the way a family should be. And what they do is they keep us from seeing what actually could be that we could actually create as a reality. Whoa, kind of a heady topic for a boring hotel room, right? Well, here we go. So here's the question you want to ask. What fantasy have I made more real than the awareness that would create a completely different reality? Let me give you the question again and then I'll explain it. What fantasy have I made more real than the awareness that would create a completely different reality? Well, what this is you're taking the fantasy and you're really trying to make it real, and that keeps you from seeing what is. Like, if you ever had a really good friend who really cared about you, but you couldn't really necessarily receive it because you had some point of view or some fantasy that they were something else to you other than somebody who cared about you, that would be a fantasy too. So if you ask, what fantasy have I made more real than the awareness that would create a different reality? For all kinds of situations in your life, this thing works. So for example, in your relationships, if you currently have a quote-unquote significant other, something I like to call an enjoyable other. If right now you have an enjoyable other, you might ask, okay, so what fantasy with, and put your enjoyable other's name in there, have I made more real than the awareness that would create a completely different reality? In other words, if you can let go of all the stuff that's fantasy, which can never really come real for you and come true for you, you can actually see then what you can create with that person. And when you ask the question, there will be something that comes up usually, and just ask myself, am I willing to change this? Am I willing to come out of the fantasy and come into the reality? And everything that doesn't allow it, let's undo it. Let's destroy and uncreate it. Okay, wow, there's a big topic for today's Tour of Consciousness. And if you use this question though, you'll start to see things in your life change. I used it all 3 days with the participants of this class that I was just facilitating. And it was amazing to see the clarity they were able to have in areas of their lives where they'd never been able to have it before. So, there's your tool for today. Thank you very much for joining me in the most boring hotel room in the world on the Tour of Consciousness in the other London, Ontario, Canada. Hope you have a phenomenal day. And what if you, being you, truly are the gift that the world requires? See you next time. Bye.